report from the government finds cancer survivors face a host of problems even after they're well.
I've done this twice now, Lee. You're like,
You know.
you're my friend right now, so I'm gonna look to you mostly.
Only now though. Then the other one showed. Just remember, I'm your friend when you see all these meanies come up to you. I'll vouch for Eric though too.
Eric's good. I mean Eric. So
Yeah. You didn't get the mean ones. Okay. So, of course, tough question. How to spell your first and last name?
Colt is spelled C-O-L-T, and last name is Davis, D-A-V-I-S.
Okay, so we have the news release, we have some information, but why don't you just go ahead and give us the nuts and bolts about what happened?
Okay, about 0900 hours, the Everett Police Department was dispatched to a commercial burglary. The owner of the business actually is the one who called in to 911. About the officer arrived on scene. It was a one single Everett officer. About 9:20 hours, that officer called out shots fired. Responding officers got to the scene and found 3 subjects at the scene, not including the officer. 2 of the subjects were deceased at the scene. The 3rd subject was transported to Harborview with injuries. His condition at this time is unknown. The officer was a 10-year veteran of the Everett Police Department, and that's all the details we have at this time. The SMART team is still investigating the incident, and when more information becomes available, we'll release it to you guys.
The 3rd person who was injured, were they injured because of gunshots or something else?
We don't know at this time right now. It's still unclear. That's all I have. They just got to see not too long ago, so.
Is it a little bit after 9 a strange time for commercial burglary?
You know, it could be. I don't know what the business is, if it's open at that time, if it was a, it could be, I don't know the circumstances regarding the business itself, but it was the business owner who called it in, so they were either closed or I'm not sure the hours or what was going on there this time.
Any surveillance video at the building?
Yeah, that's still scanned, not sure. Yeah.
Ages?
All we know is that they're white males, and ages are still unknown. The ME's en route to the scene to do their investigation and hopefully identify the bodies and determine the cause of their death.
So there were 3 people in the business plus the owner of the business?
I'm not sure if the subjects were inside the business or what was going on if they were inside, outside, or how that happened. The owner of the business is the one who called in to make the report. So I'm not sure exactly if he was on scene at this time. That's still unclear.
You say it's a SMART investigation?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about why it is a SMART investigation?
The SMART team is a multi-agency response team, so it's composed of detectives from various agencies throughout the Snohomish County. Usually when it's an officer-involved shooting for a certain area, the SMART team is called out so they can kind of takes the department that's involved, so Everett PD doesn't have to be involved in the investigation, and it's from a, I guess, a non-biased or outside perspective on what was the cause of the shooting.
The officer or officers who may have been involved, what's their status right now?
The officer, we only have reports of this one officer being involved in the shooting at this time, and they are currently at the office doing debriefs and all that stuff right now.
The 3 people, so you have 2 who are dead and 1 who was injured. Are any of them the store owner?
Right now, it doesn't appear to be so.
So these were 3 people who were at the business for another reason. They are not the store owner.
Possibly. Like I said, that's the information is still coming out right now, so I'm not sure exactly the circumstances of that right this time. So we're still investigating.
So we don't know if they were the ones who all were holding the place up, or if this was maybe a customer who was caught in the crossfire as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was like a holdup or a customer. I'm not sure on that stuff. I just know that right now we have 3 subjects, and the details of why they were there and what was going on are still coming together at this time.
So what do you do next?
Next step is I'm going to go back and talk to the investigators and get more information. And when I get more updated stuff for you guys, I'll come back and let you guys know what's going on. But right now, we're kind of just in a holding pattern until they finish up their portion of things.
Can you tell me when we might get another briefing?
As soon as I can get one available to you. Hopefully, I'll go talk to him right after this interview here and see if there's any more information for you guys to be released. And then if there is, I'll come back and let you guys know.
And I'm also curious, can you tell us a little bit about how far apart was there like was there a car or anything like that was in the lot that you guys are trying to get a search warrant on or anything like that?
I'm not sure on that right now. Those details are still coming to me. All we have again is just what was basically reported, that there were some shots fired. 3 subjects were at the scene when the officers arrived. I'm not sure why the shots were fired. All this information is still unknown to us right now. So when it comes available, I will get it to you right away.
And do you know if there been much crime in that neighborhood before, in that part of town?
I'm not sure on the crime statistics for that area. Like I said, I'm from a different agency, so I'm not sure what their exact reports are for that area.
Does this have anything to do with school shootings at all?
I can answer that question for you right now. I don't know if it's related or not.
Okay, and do you have any idea what they were after in there?
Again, I wish I could tell you what they were after and why they were doing there, but at this time I have very minor information.
What's inside the business?
I think it's a rental company, so they have rental stuff for events.
Okay. All good?
All right, and I'm
Okay. What kind of new information can you tell us?
We were able to confirm that the victim, who is at Harborview Hospital, is a 40-year-old Everett resident and is an employee of the business where the shooting occurred. The shooting did occur inside the business, and we did confirm that it was open for regular business at that time.
So then the 2 people who are dead, do you know what their role was in all this? If they
We
were
do not.
customers or burglars?
We're still trying to piece together those pieces to find out what started the whole incident. At this point, it's only conjecture on our part if it was a robbery or some other type of altercation that occurred inside the business.
And the person at Harborview, do you know if they were shot, if that's what they're being treated for?
That we can't divulge at this time. The detectives are still actively interviewing him. That's just the information we were able to get out so that we could give that to you as quickly as possible.
Have you gotten any information on the narrative of what happened if this employee tried to step in, if there was any kind of confrontation among this group before the owner was able to call 911?
At this point, we really don't know. With everything being so fluid and with there only being one actual witness at this time that we can interview, we're still trying to piece that together, and it'll take just a little bit of time.
Did the, let's see, is the officer, are you talking to the officer right now who was involved in this?
At the time, within protocol, within all of our member agencies, the officer was briefly interviewed at the scene and then was taken to his or her department to be further interviewed at that time. And there are certain protocols that we have to go by, along with department policies and labor contracts, that all play into these types of situations.
What was the response time?
The officer arrived within 20 minutes of the call coming in, which is that time of day, is with traffic and everything, is not too unusual, and with a commercial burglary call from the business. So that response was the appropriate one at that time.
Because I can imagine if someone sees 20 minutes, they'll think that that's a long time within a city. Any thoughts on that?
Well, what I'll have to do is get the incident history to confirm those timelines. We don't know if there was a delay from when the owner was notified to when he called 911, so we're still trying to get that all together. As you can imagine, this is very volatile. We're trying to get everything contained, and those pieces of information we'll be able to get a little bit.
And I missed, how did the patient at Harborview get there?
By ambulance.
Are there any other scenes that you're working right now besides this business?
No, everything is contained within the business.
No other search warrants for cars or homes or anywhere else beyond here right now?
Not at this time, no.
Twitter says that the victim could have been a suspect, could also have helped.
That, at this point, anything's a possibility, and we're going to go through that step by step so that we, don't make any wrong conclusions at this point. So it doesn't appear so at this time, but we will go through that, and it'll be part of the process.
Do you know for sure if the officer shot the 2 people who were killed?
We don't have that information right now.
Anything on the ages of the other 2?
No, just other than they were white males and are deceased, and we'll be able to confirm that with the medical examiner once their investigations complete.
I'm trying to remember how many years had the officer, was it a 10-year veteran?
10 years, yes.
And how old is the officer?
That I don't have at this time.
Does the officer have any other shootings? Has he ever shot anyone else?
That I don't know.
Do you have any sense, are there any search warrants in the works?
Because of the nature of this incident, we're not going to have to get a search warrant for the business itself. Anything other than that, if the detectives find another location, a vehicle, something that is with this incident, then they will get a search warrant, but not at this time.
And the initial press release said burglary, but you're saying robbery. Robbery is likely to be motive on
At
this?
this point, the only thing we know is that the officer responded to a commercial burglary report, and shortly after on scene, shots were fired. So what the motive was behind the shooting, the specifics of that will just take a little bit of time to piece together.
And how long did it take for backup to get to there? There's the one officer who got there in 20 minutes. How long did it take for backup after that?
Because of the nature of that call, the backup officers arrived shortly thereafter. What the specific time was, I can't say.
Why did he go in by himself? Why didn't he wait for a backup?
At that time, it being a commercial burglary, maybe the officer was just responding, thinking it was going to be a report as the business was open. Once we're able to get a detailed interview from him, then we'll know more exactly on that.
Is anyone under arrest?
Not at this time.
Do you know when you might have more information?
They're right in the middle of their briefing right now. I would imagine it would be at least an hour before I can get any more information on that. We want them to be as complete as they can, and they'll give me what they can when they can.
We asked earlier the previous officer, what do they rent at that place? Is there something that draw people there?
I don't know specifically what. I know that they have a wide range of different things that people can rent, from small appliances to small machinery. So what drives people to steal things like that, I couldn't tell you.
How fuzzy was he?
He was very fuzzy.